Hi everybody, this is episode 77 of the Lefty Knitter podcast. I'm your host Aquila, and you can find me on all the links below on Ravelry and Instagram and whatnot. Today is August the 4th, and it's a Tuesday. We are just now on the back end of the tropical storm that passed through. I'm coming to you from Baltimore, Maryland. The rain was really crazy today. So I just want to welcome any new viewers and any returning viewers to my channel. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for encouraging me. I am very excited. I just purchased an Erlbacher Gearhart circular sock knitting machine, and I am very excited about that, and I'm excited to take you on my journey. This morning I did my first morning crank, so I thought I would start a series on Instagram and talk about my journey with my circular sock knitting machine. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. I have only done tubes so far. I tried making heel ones. I talked about that in the last episode. Fail, but that's okay. You're going to come along on my journey with me. I'll probably be posting a lot on the IG series there. I'm still going to talk about it on the channel, but those are specifically going to be like me with videos working on the machine. I could probably figure out how to upload those here because I can save them, but they are portrait mode and not landscape mode, which is YouTube's preferences, portrait mode, landscape mode, sorry. So I cranked this the other day. Yesterday? I can't remember. This is Patton's Croy. This is the blue striped rag colorway. I have 2 balls of this. I actually have 4, I should say. But I have 2 balls, and I cranked both this one, and the other one is still on my machine, which is like over there. I noticed that my tension is definitely different. So I need to count my rows per inch to have a better idea. I might have to adjust my tension on my machine every time I crank a sock. I'm not quite sure. I have to play with it. This one is longer than the one that is on my machine. No, sorry, this one is shorter. So I'm gonna have to get a book and probably keep a journal maybe of where my tension is sitting, like the knob is turned to, and what notch it's on. And then how many rows per inch I get based on where that tension knob is sitting. But I love this colorway. I mean, Patton's Croy is a pretty industrious sock. So it's a 50-gram ball. It is 75/25 wool nylon, washable wool, and it's approximately 166 yards. I thought, because I was measuring it against a different colorway, and I was like, oh, is that a different brand of the Patton's Croy? Like, some of them are like FX and some of them are like this one is the Patton's Croy I showed you the last time. This is FX. And let's see, is their yardage the same? Yeah, 166 yards for 50 grams. So they are actually the same. Now I'm curious if it was the same. Look at the difference. That's a pretty significant difference. So I'm going to have to play with the tension on my machine. Other than cranking some tubes, the only thing I've actually knit on is my Pixham pullover, which is the panels were machine knit on my Addi king size, my Addi Express king size. I have now seamed all of that. It is all seamed. That's exciting. Oh, I put the wrong label on the wrong one. I'll mess with that later. And I have started the sleeve, so let me get that out. So there is some hand knitting portions in this sweater. It calls for a worsted weight. It also calls for 2 fingering weights held together. My gauge didn't come out right because apparently the yarn I'm using is considered an Aran weight, but that's okay. It's okay. See, you just have to follow the inch or centimeter measurements versus row counted measurements, which I did have to adjust that. I'm not going to put this on. It is very hot. This storm passed and now it's like sweltering outside again. I thought it was going to cool down this week and maybe it's not. I have a lot of ends here, so excuse all those. The last time you guys saw this, I had only seamed the top panels to the bottom panels, so that's the last you had seen. I had now done the braided part across the front, and it's across the front and the back. It looks really cool. I posted a picture on my Instagram page, the Lefty Knitter podcast, a Lefty Knitter podcast Instagram page. So I do have needles on this side holding those stitches, and I have a neckline here. That nothing gets done to the neckline. You just seam those shoulders together, and you have that braid. Let me try to, I think it looks so cool. The braid runs one way on the top and the opposite direction, so you get the effect of it going both directions, and it does that on the back also, so you can see the back. And I am now working on this sleeve. I am 1/3 of the way through the sleeve per the row, the amounts of rows she tells you to use. But if I measure, because I haven't done that yet, let me measure right here on camera. If I measure this, I'm supposed to be around 7.5 inches. And I'm at around 5.5. So that's pretty spot on probably if I were to do the last third half of the rows that I need. And yeah, so it is a 1x1 rib that is done on the sleeve portion. And so these sleeves come out like this, will sit right around here, and then it'll be like that. Because these are like kind of drop shouldery. I guess that's what that's considered, drop shoulder-ish-esque. Because it's kind of a boxy shape. So it'll come out a little past my elbow. And you don't do any other finishing because this is a 1x1 rib. You can see it's nice and stretchy. And that's really this sleeve, the other sleeve obviously, and then there's a little bit of ribbing at the bottom. That's the only hand knitting part. Everything, I feel like there's a lot of time you put in to prepping the panels and then seaming the panels. Now, John was like, couldn't you have knit that faster? You've been a little frustrated with this sweater, haven't you? And I was like, you know, I may have been able to knit it almost as fast, but I don't think it would have been as fast. Cranking those panels out, once I got past my crazy slump of getting the third panel going, or the second panel, I can't remember what it was now. It was the third panel, because the first two I did pretty easily. And then I got over that hump and made those third and fourth panels, and I was like ready to go. But it was just a lot of work prepping it, to seam it, prepping it, to add the shoulders, but I'm there. I am there. This is going to be so cool. I'm so excited for it. I think it's a really neat thing that I had cranked some of this on my Addi, because I can say that it was partially machine knit and it was partially hand knit. I think it's cool. I'll, of course, place the designer's name down below for this. So, hope everybody's doing okay. I normally don't say that in the first clip here, but yeah. I have to figure out how I'm adding in clips with the machine too, because I think you guys want to see that, not have to go to YouTube. To my IG page. So let me know if you would like me to try to import those videos here too. The one I did this morning was live, so I'm kind of talking to people. I don't know if people would want to see that on the YouTube. I know you can rewatch live YouTube streams, and sometimes it can be annoying because the people stop and talk and to the people that are watching at that time and moment. So let me know what you guys think about that. We could give it a try. Doesn't hurt anything. Or you can just go to the Lefty Knitter and check it out there. I don't know. This is all new. Good morning, podcast viewers. Today is Wednesday and it's like 7 in the morning. I just showered. I'm setting up my dining room table because I want to do a small video for my IGTV series that I'm doing. I'm doing a series for Instagram TV that is my journey on the Erlbacher. Now, I know I'm going to be talking about it in my podcast too, but I'm going a little more in depth in those IG videos, so you might want to check those out. One thing I learned is to crank socks on your knitting machine is you need a free-flowing source of yarn. Most people put their yarn on these cones. Now, I bought these cones thinking I will figure out something, and I'm still trying to figure out something. In the booklet for the machine, they tell you you can also use, you can buy a bobbin winder to wind your cones, or you can buy a cone winder, which are really expensive, or you can do a center pull ball, but your center pull ball, you have to pull from the outside, and the ball has to, or the cake, when you make your cake on your ball winder, the yarn has to not go underneath. That's probably going to be a little hard to explain, but I'm going to show you guys. I'll record another clip later after I record the IG video. I busted out both of my ball winders, and I need to test my ball winders to see if my cakes have the yarn where, if my ball winders make the yarn go underneath of the cake. Because, Vaughn, stop it. If it goes under the cake, it's not going to free flow from the cake onto my machine for the sock knitting. So I did not realize that when you buy a ball winder, your ball winder could be making cakes that have a flat bottom or more of a rounded bottom where the yarn is going underneath. So I'm going to be testing both of mine. I will show you what I have. I have right here is the Knit Picks plastic ball winder. The other thing I saw people do, and I did try this on this machine, but I think it's going to be better if I know if it's a flat-bottomed cake or not. That's so funny. To take some quilt batting and put it in your cone, or, well, I did it this way, around, and then put my cone on top. But you want to make sure it goes all the way to the bottom. That stabilizes your cone onto your ball winder. And I did that, and it didn't feel like it free flowed off of this, so I'm thinking both of my machines are not a flat bottom ball winder. The other machine I have is a Strauch Jumbo ball winder. Strauch is S-T-R-A-U-C-H. It's made in Virginia, and so this will wind balls of yarn that are much bigger than just the standard 100 grams. So I need to find out if they make flat bottom cakes or not. That's kind of funny because the song Flat Bottom Girls. The other option I was talking about on my IGTV yesterday was taking a toilet paper roll, putting it on my machine, probably putting a little batting inside it so it stays stable, winding my cake onto this, and then putting this on my Lazy Kate, so then my cake would freely go this way. But I'm not sure if that's still going to put enough, if it's still going to put too much tension on to the source yarn that's feeding into my machine. Because if there is tension, it really makes it harder to crank. It needs to be really, really free flowing. So these are things I'm trying. I did buy it's like a rubber stopper, and it has a drill bit on the end, and that rubber stopper goes into this, and then your drill bit goes into your drill, and then that looks terrible because it looks like I'm shooting a gun. You'll do your drill, this will spin, and I'll hand feed the yarn onto my cone. So I did buy that part from Erlbacher. So I'm gonna be experimenting with that too. So again, here you go on the journey with me. I did crank a few more socks though. I will just show them in the next clip because I have to go get them. Okay, so I've wound my cakes on my ball winders for testing purposes, to find out which ball winder does what. And here we go. So this, I've already taken them off because I've already recorded for my IG video. So if you want to see a longer version of it, you could go there. But this was off my Strouch machine. And you can see that the yarn is definitely going underneath of that cake. So not a flat bottom from Strouch. This came off my Knit Picks machine, and you can kind of already tell the difference. Now, it's not the perfect cake because the way I was winding it, just, you know, that is much more flat bottomed. So my knitting machine will do much better with this cake because it's not trying to pull that yarn from underneath of the cake versus more just on the outside of this cake. So, conclusion, the cheaper Knit Picks ball winder is better for winding my cakes for my knitting machine, for my source yarn for my knitting machine. Interesting. I am also going to try the toilet paper roll method and put it on my lazy cake. So I'll talk about that for that video, for later in this video. I don't know. I'm going to end up getting these videos confused. And I don't know if I should just post the IG videos on YouTube after I post them on Instagram. Be repetitive. I turned my camera the wrong way, so I keep looking at the wrong direction. I also bought a bucket to replace the kitchen bowl that I've been using. Just went to the Dollar General and bought a $1 bucket to put my yarn in so it's not flopping all over the floor when I'm winding it. Okay, everybody, it is now Saturday, August the 8th, and we're going to round up this video for the week. I was showing you guys some of the sock tubes that I was creating. I showed you this one, and I wanted to show you the one that was on my machine because it's a different size. So I actually have 3 tubes all connected here, what people call sock snakes, and I need to get I'll get all the labels off real quick. So one of the balls that are in this snake was also the same colorway of that Patton's Croix. So my tension was different on my machine. You can see the difference there. So I need to really figure out when I'm doing 2 tubes of the same yarn, I want to crank them at the same time so I know I'm getting the same tension, but I also want to play with the tension because these are going to get me a longer pair of socks. So these I will probably make into one set of socks. And this one probably too, it's just going to be a shorty pair. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I might re-crank this one because you can do that, right? You can frog it and re-crank it. The other 2 balls that I cranked up were called Route 66, it's also Patton's Croix sock, and that's this colorway, and I cranked both of those back to back, and if I fold that in half, approximately, obviously, I am almost spot on, right? So I'm pretty much spot on. So these are going to be probably 1 pair of socks, a longer pair of socks for someone. So I need to play with the tension. I need to figure out, some of these yarns are obviously thicker and thinner than others because not all fingering weight is equal, right? So yeah, that's where I am with that. I
I'm very excited. These were hand wound balls that I cranked from. So they were just flopping around in my little bucket. I have now since received my stopper, which you may have seen already. I say, so much. You probably have already seen it on Instagram. And this is the stopper that goes on the drill, and then you wind your cones. So the cone goes on the end. I don't have an empty cone, I'll show you. Also, I was telling you guys about, let me jump backwards real quick. I was telling you about how I put yarn on my toilet paper roll on my Lazy Kate. This worked okay. That was not a bad method. The tension pulling on it, it was pretty free flowing for the most part. Thought that was okay. That and the cone are probably going to be the top methods, but since I have this tool now with the stopper, I'm probably just going to make cones. I did make 2 cones with my drill attachment, so I'll show you those right now. One is a Patent Croy FX. I only had 1 ball of this, and this is Deep Stash. I don't think they tell you like what year they were made, but this is called Cascade Colors, and I just had it sitting on top of my cone so I can remember. So this was the first cone I wound. You can see it's a little fat there, but that's okay as long as it builds up, and when it starts pulling from here, it didn't go below this part here, and it didn't. Everything is above it except for where it was super thick. Started there, you know, hard to explain. I've been since told to try a crisscross pattern, so I'm gonna try doing that better. I didn't do that with either of these, so I wound 2. I had this, and this was also a Deep Stash. I don't even know if they make this anymore. Red Heart, Heart and Soul with Aloe. And this colorway is called Watercolor Stripes, and that's really pretty too. This one looks better. I did this one second, obviously. This one looks better than the first one. I think they're both gonna work well. I also talked about putting my cone onto my ball winder and then using that as my source yarn. So I did, this was some opal yarn, and I've already made a pair of socks out of this, but this was what was left over. This is the string that goes underneath, and it'll pull up. This is the cake now from my cone, so it's a cake wound onto here. This, I used my Knit Picks ball winder because I knew it had more of the flat bottom, and I think it is better than if I would have used my other one, my other ball winder, because it would have went more underneath. So I'm gonna try it and see how much it pulls, like tension wise, on my machine. So I cranked my first like project, which cranking this gives you a couple skill sets. 1, you're cranking a tube, and 2, you're doing a hung hem. So this is actually where I cast on this here, and then you do so many rows. You do a picot type stitch, so what you're doing is you're moving your stitch from one needle to, so needle 1 to needle 2, and then you're taking stitch needle off of needle 3 to 4, so every other needle won't have a stitch and every other needle will have 2. Then you crank around and you get these little, it's probably really hard to say, you get these little like kind of a, I guess it's almost like a yarn over, because you get like this little stitch, and that is what you use on your bonnet to hang your stitches. This is a bonnet, so I made a bonnet, sorry. And then you crank 10 more rows, which would have been these rows, and you take your cast on edge from inside the machine and you pull it up. Maybe I'll do a video just to show you guys what a hung hem, how you do a hung hem, because it is interesting, and I want to try hung hems for the tops of socks because you can see that it's pretty stretchy. So I'm gonna try it. I don't know how well they'll stay up on your leg, but then you crank your tube, you bind it, you wind it off, and then you just cinch it shut. So there is kind of a hole in it, but it doesn't matter because this is what hangs down. You put your weights on it. Sorry, I have some congestion. It's not been fun. So I'll get all the machine knitting out of the way. Fail. That's okay though. So I started here, cast on some waste yarn, I cranked a few rows, and then I did my first heel, my first successful heel that I've done, which, let me tell you, could probably be better, because you know what I forgot to do is put on my, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna remember what it's called. At the top of the machine here, this piece here, you pull the yarn up and over it to give it more tension, so when you're doing your heel. I'll try to remember and put the name of it up there if I remember to do that. That's crazy. So then I cranked what I think I needed for my size foot, which is about 8 inches worth of straight stockinette stitches. And then I started doing my toe, and I got halfway, and then I muffed something up, and I had to pull it off the machine. It was not salvageable. So I can pull this yarn out and try again. This can be like for testing. I gotta keep practicing on doing heels, because I want to be able to crank a whole sock and not have to cut in heels and do toes, and maybe only do cuffs if I like a ribbed cuff versus a hung hem cuff. Of course the leg would be longer. John's like, where's the leg? And I was like, I wanted to practice. So I know I can crank in a circle, so. But it doesn't look bad. This is yarn that John actually dyed with black walnuts. So. All right, one more thing I have to show you guys. The Pixham sweater. The knitting part, the seaming parts are all done. I have to weave in ends. I have to pull out some waste yarn. I'd like to steam block it because it's an acrylic yarn, but I bound off the bottom hem this morning. I tried it on. It's actually a little long, but John's like, it would look really good with like leggings. So, but the top fits really well. I am not a fan, just my personal opinion, of the seam that you do across the bust. It actually falls below my bust. I would have much rather done a mattress stitch seam there. But you can see all my ends. I have to weave all that in. I have to tighten up the armpit holes, you know, all the things to finish. But I have a sweater. I have a sweater that's really interesting because it's, you know, half machine knit and half hand knit, and I think that's cool. I think if I did this again, I would just do the 2 panels like I did before. I would mattress seam it, and maybe not even put this decorative detail in it, and have a really nice, plain, cozy, comfy sweater. So I will be showing you this one more time, probably on the next episode, because I will then have all my seams in, and I'll try it on. I'll show you guys. Well, I have it. I'll try it on. That's so silly. All right, let me pause here and see if Bobo wants to come in and help me announce the prize winners for the birthstone cow. Okay, I brought John to help me in. Help me.
What she said.
And Hazel's here too. We're gonna pick the winners for the birthstone cow. So John is gonna use his phone, and we're gonna pick a number between 2 and 14, right? 2 and 14. Go ahead.
I don't know how to. Okay, Google.
Siri.
Okay, Siri. Hey, Siri.
Don't you press the button? And it.
What button do I press?
Oh.
I've never used
goodness.
Siri. Hold on.
I thought you knew how to do this.
No, you just said bring your iPhone. It'll do it. I don't use iPhones except for work.
I know, but I know Siri is good at doing things.
Hold on, I see the button sometimes.
You see the button? This is gonna be a long video.
Talk about something else.
Hazel, do you have another loose tooth?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we went.
Mommy don't like seeing my loose tooths.
No, I don't like seeing it at all.
Siri. Oh. What were the numbers?
2 and 14.
Siri. Oh, clear. Start over.
I found this on the web.
No. Siri, choose a number between 2 and 14.
The answer is 13.
13. All right.
Where's speaker?
I did it!
I do not know how to pronounce this person's Ravelry name, but it's Imecoll. I'll put it like up in the top here. And you made a pair of really cool socks, and you are the winner. I should have picked one. We'll start with Fully Spun. Fully Spun. You've won the gift card from Fully Spun. Your name is Linda.
Your name is Linda. That was a whole lot of words to end in. Your name is Linda.
All right, and then we need one more number because I have 2 gift cards.
I gotta figure that out again.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Siri, pick a number between 2 and 14.
That would be 10.
Number 10. All right. You will be winning the Rising Tide. Oh, that's my entry. You got to do it again.
Why do you have an entry? The
'Cause
system is rigged.
It's not rigged.
Siri, pick a number between 2 and 14.
It's 10.
Gosh! Dude, I would not trust this. I would have better trust in the
Hazel, pick a number.
2020 presidential election.
2 and 14.
9.
9. There we go. All right. Victoria Jean, you have won the $40 gift card from Rising Tide Fiber Company. So I think what I need from both of you is your email address, because when I purchase the gift card, it will probably... Jeez, no! I thought that was Hazel. It will be sent to your email. So if you can private message me either on Ravelry or on Instagram. One of the two. Congratulations!
Yay!
Woo! All right. So, what do we have to talk about life things?
We almost bought a kayak, and then we didn't buy a kayak, and then I decided to buy a kayak, and then we didn't buy a kayak, and then we talked about kayaks and the possibility of kayaks, but then we still didn't buy a kayak, and then we kayak. There's been a lot of conversations about kayaks. I don't know if anybody's been to any kind of outdoor stores or anything, but kayaks are super hard to find.
They're gone.
Right now.
You went to outdoor
Probably not that hard to
world,
find
and
in
they're
like Idaho, but
No, I want the plans to buy them.
okay, then go out and play.
yeah. Go.
Go out and play.
Don't drop that because I don't have a cover on mine. Bye. Go in the.
Actually, I don't. That's fine. Dika, I'm gonna turn the light on.
No. This is why I told her to stay out.
This is why you get dislikes on your podcast.
It is. I bet you it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we didn't buy a kayak.
We didn't. I bailed on the guy.
It was a 15-foot tandem kayak. So
Yeah.
I think we were thinking of getting smaller kayaks and individual kayaks. But this would have been good for all of us to be out on the water all at one time.
Yeah, but I also can't help but think that everything's more expensive right now because they're in demand, and I'm a cheap person.
No.
And we've been looking at kayaks
It's-
for like 4 years, so
We-
it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
we've never pulled the trigger. So, yeah. Anything else? Okay, that's loud and annoying. You're as bad as
I
Hazel.
am... No, just work and go home, work and go home, work and go home. That's all we've been doing.
Yeah. I miss Friends and stuff. And
I didn't
people.
really like Friends. I thought it was overrated.
I don't like that show.
Suit me.
What have we been watching? Anything?
We watched that lawyer movie with Billy Bob Thornton,
The show. What?
Goliath.
Goliath. It got weird.
I like weird.
I mean, I like weird too, but I feel like it got weird.
Yeah. So congratulations to Deborah and
Linda.
Linda.
And
Congratulations.
Victoria.
There was only 2.
Linda and Victoria.
Where-
There was no Deborah.
What happened to Deborah?
There was never a Deborah.
Deborah always gets the short end of the stick.
No, that's Deborah.
Been watching you rage quit on your sock machine a lot.
I haven't rage quit. How proud was I?
Of a hobo sock. It looks like a grifter that's been running around the Midwest hopping from train to train with a stick and a handkerchief tied around it. It looks like a grifter sock.
I messed up and I had to stop. Leave me alone.
It looks like one of my socks when I was 23.
I couldn't afford socks.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, I guess we're going to have to stretch these out a little bit longer. I didn't know anything about a darning egg back then. Why don't you just fix it with your darning egg?
I don't have a darning egg, and you can't fix that with a darning egg.
Why?
I could rip that out and just knit the toe. That's probably the best solution, but it's a practice. It's called practice, and I haven't rage quit on it since the first day.
Oh, I'm sorry, but this would be flagged on the YouTubes if I were to take any video of you using that machine.
Nuh-uh, I have not cursed that much.
Beep, 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 beep. I'm just stupid.
Well, yeah, I get upset with myself.
Beep. That's
Stop.
what this room sounds like.
It's not that bad. I'm doing okay. I can knit tubes. No problem.
I don't know. I think we're in big needs of getting out of this environment.
Oh, just the house in general.
Oh, the house, work, routine.
Yeah.
We need to go somewhere.
But it's too scary to go anywhere. Like, I know we went early in, not even early, 2 months into COVID, and that was crazy and scary. And
For you.
yeah, it was.
I don't know. Let's go to someplace where there's no people.
There's nowhere. You can't even, so like, everybody's outside doing things. You can't even go to the rivers because people are trashing them because people are just ignorant. Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to order more weird foods online and just do videos and entertain ourselves.
We've been doing that since, when did this whole thing start? Halloween?
What? COVID?
Yeah.
No. It started March 13th because it was Friday the 13th. That's not when it started. That's when I got that was my day that we took off work, and then they were like, stay home. So that's when I count of it being like started, because that's when we've like been stuck at home since then.
Can't ride my motorcycle.
Nope. Hand is still not working
I
correctly.
can't pull in my clutch.
Oh, you might not even be able to ride bikes great. Because your hand would probably start to hurt after a while. We haven't even done that.
Yeah.
We haven't rode bikes. We haven't done anything. Hazel's been in her little pool, and that's like it.
It would have been cool getting out on the water on our kayak and then me realizing that I couldn't get us back and you had to paddle us back.
Yeah, because your hand would hurt so bad.
You'd be like, I'm dying.
Hazel put this on. She's like, it's a sock. And it fits. And it almost did fit her.
Mm.
Like, if I made the tension really tight, it probably would fit her and put, like, heels and stuff with it.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
I know, right?
We finished This Is Us finally, which was really weird because all the commercials in between were about, like, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, Trolls 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
But then we started watching Big Brother.
Yeah.
That is our guilty pleasure.
No, it's not. That is your guilty pleasure, and I was doing
You got
fine
sucked
in
into it.
life without having to watch that stupid crap.
You love it.
3 nights a week of watching other people do things. And usually it's like, ooh, who's gonna bone down in the diary room? But everybody's married with kids.
Okay, so it's an all-star season, and they brought people back from like, this is like season 22 or something like that. I don't know. So they brought people back from like 10 years ago. So they're grown up more, maybe not. They have kids. They're married. So it is going to be a whole different kind of like feel to the season.
I almost went and got a beer from Rockstar yesterday when I was at Arundel Mills. I was like, I wonder if Rockstar is working.
Yeah. One of the people from the show. She lives close to here and works at the casino.
Yeah, I was
near
right there
us.
yesterday working.
We met her, almost a year ago? It was
Yeah.
probably a year ago.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. This
That's
is
it.
boring. We're not gonna
Keep this
talk
going.
about all the things that I
Could
want to
be.
do, but that'll be like that guy that comes up to you and wants to tell you all about the tattoo that he's one day thinking of getting. Maybe you won't understand that, but we can totally understand that.
If you have tattoos, you totally know what we're talking about.
You get cornered out in public, and they're like, "Oh man, I can get this. I want to get a tattoo. I've been thinking about it for years, and I gotta find somebody that can draw it up for me." Like the
Just
tattoo artist
do
is
it.
never an option.
Just get it done.
Yeah. So okay, you have a great day.
Great week.
Be good to yourself. You deserve it.
Mental health is important.
Am I
Yes.
supposed to go again?
No.
Oh,
I guess that's it. So, knit happy? Be
You-
good to yourself.
be-
I screwed it up.
well, you gave me. I had already said it. I nailed it, and then you put it back on me. So whenever that happens, all I want to do is sing Hoobastank songs.
We've been listening to some music this morning. It's been good.
Yeah.
Until Hazel turns it off.
Live music would be awesome.
Oh my god, live music. Okay, all the things we can't do. Just stop. Stop dreaming about it.
I'm like ready to buy tickets to that drag show because it's
Something to
some
do.
form of live entertainment. There's a RuPaul drag show coming to the Annapolis Mall parking lot, and it's like a drive-in movie theater thing where you stay in your cars and such.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally thinking about doing it just
We might.
as something to do.
She's touring around doing that at different places, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of cool. It'd be something to do and safe, I guess, because you can bring your own dinner in your car.
Birdie Bird is doing another one of his drive-in movie theater comedy tours, and he's
I don't
coming
think people know who that is when you say Bernie Bert.
Bert Kreischer. He's a comedian that I like, but he's doing another. He did a tour of a comedy tour and went to all these like drive-in movie theaters across the country, and he just announced another one. And he's coming to Philly, but it's sold out in like 12 minutes.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're not doing
Yeah,
that.
because people are desperate.
Desperate.
Knit happy.
Shabba ding dong.